amid reports that China has grounded Boeing 737 MAX 8 jets after yesterday's deadly Ethiopian Airlines crash. An Australian aviation expert is urging passengers to keep things in perspective. Updated 36 minutes ago by Charlotte Lam. Maani Truu As the tributes flow for the 157 victims of the Ethiopian Airlines crash. China has requested that airlines operating Boeing 737 MAX 8 jets temporarily ground them. According to local media reports, it is the second time in 6 months that the aircraft model has been involved in a horrific crash shortly after takeoff. In October 2018, Lion Air Flight 610 with 189 people on board crashed into the Java Sea off the coast of Indonesia just 13 minutes after takeoff, killing all on board. The cause of the crash is still being investigated. Citing industry sources familiar with the matter, state-run news network Haijing said Domestic Airlines, which operates some 60 such aircraft, had received orders from the Civil Aviation Administration of China (CAAC) and halted their use on Monday. A Boeing spokesperson declined to comment on the Chinese flights, but said, a Boeing technical team will be traveling to the crash site to provide technical assistance under the direction of the Ethiopia Accident Investigation Bureau in the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board, but an Australian airline operations expert told SBS News that the model was still safe to fly, despite the similarities between the two crashes raising questions. With the investigations still ongoing with the Indonesian event, I'm not sure if there's any concern for the aircraft type yet until the evidence suggests there is something going on, Dr. Peter Bruce from Swinburne University in Melbourne said. The MAX 8 is the most up-to-date aircraft in the Boeing 737 model, and has only been in commercial use since 2017. I think it will come down to seeing what evidence is consistent before any moves are made to do anything against the fleet of MAX 8s, Dr. Bruce said. There are quite a few MAX 8s in service around the world already, and certainly Australia is getting some towards the end of the year. Virgin Australia has confirmed it has ordered 30 Boeing 737 MAX 8 planes, the first batch of which are due to arrive before the year's end. A carrier spokesman told SBS News it was too early to comment on whether the Ethiopian crash would impact the order. Aviation experts expect the investigation process to be much quicker compared to last year's Lion Air tragedy, in which investigators initially struggled to recover the black box because the jet had crashed off the coast of Indonesia. Dr. Bruce understands the growing concerns around the safety of this fleet and in the industry as a whole, but urged Australians to keep things in perspective. The incidents and accidents that do happen strike the headlines, rightly so, but they're actually very few and far between considering the thousands and thousands of flights each day, he said. There aren't that many aviation accidents that happen. They're horrible when they do, but there aren't that many. If you look at car crashes, if they hit the headlines every day, you don't get anything else in the paper. Investigative journalist and former UK Royal Air Force pilot Mikey Kay is interested to know what training the Ethiopian Airlines crew received on the updated guidance for the 737 MAX 8, issued by the US-based Federal Aviation Administration. In the aftermath of the Lion Air crash, I would be looking into a couple of key areas, he told. Said that radio call by the pilot would have been preceded by a mayday, 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 or a pan, mayday, mayday, mayday being the very serious one, which could indicate a severe catastrophic failure. I'd be interested to know whether it was a mayday or a pan, because that would give us an indication of how severe the pilots interpreted the problem that they were having. Fiji Airways, which also includes the Boeing 737 MAX 8 in their fleet, told SBS News they had full confidence in the airworthiness of our fleet. Fiji Airways followed a comprehensive induction process for our new Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft, a spokesperson said. We continue to ensure that our maintenance and training program for pilots and engineers meets the highest safety standards. Stay up to date with SBS News app. Subscribe, follow, listen, watch SBS News app. Download our free app on the App Store or Google Play for the latest headlines and breaking news alerts. SBS News on social. Follow SBS News to join in the conversation and never miss the latest live updates. Latest news podcasts. Ask Amazon Alexa for the latest SBS News or listen to SBS Radio. Daily Bulletin. Watch SBS World News Live daily at 6:30 p.m. on TV and on our app. Catch up on SBS On Demand.